Hey everybody, welcome back to another video with Gem Mint Masters. This is going to be episode 4 in the Building Your Personal Collection series, talking more about strategy. In the videos previous to this, we talked a little bit about things to look for when grading. I showed some of my personal collection, which I've got my Wemby collection here today. I'll kind of show you that I'm building, and I'll talk a little bit about that because I think there's a good lesson to be learned from that. And then I've got my pile of cards that I've already looked at that are going to go to PSA for grading on my next submission. And I'll talk a little bit about my thought process around those, and again, kind of focusing on the raw to grade strategy, what kind of cards to look for, where there's some profit, but again, with the overall goal in mind that in selling these cards, it's really helping you to expand and build your own personal collection, which these cards right here are staying with me, but I've got to sell these ones over here to be able to buy these. And again, with that goal of essentially building your collection for free off of the money that you make to selling some of the other stuff. I got to say, there's no feeling more gratifying than being able to sell some cards, take that money that's basically all profit, and go out and buy something like these cards here that essentially you're getting for nothing, and really building that kind of long-term investment on them. Again, as I've said before, like I look at these as these are my stocks right here. I have a lot more fun playing around with these. I got my money sitting in a 401k that is kind of doing its own thing. It's just not my thing to mess around with, but this is something I have passion in, and I really have desire to go and be more strategic about how I do it. So hopefully you guys all think the same way, or some of you, I'm sure some do, but and some people just like to collect, and that's totally fine. But hopefully some strategies here will help you continue to collect and realize that, wow, this is pretty cool. I can go out and get these cards that maybe I thought were unattainable or something like that. But you got to start somewhere, right? Okay, so let's I'm gonna set these cards off to the side for now, and I'll kind of showcase my Wemby collection and talk a little bit about. I think Wemby cards are a great lesson to be learned in terms of not only collecting, but again, building your personal collection. As we all know, the hype around Wemby is insane. Has not really died down since he came onto the scene because he had an amazing rookie year. I think a lot of experts think he's going to have an amazing career overall. So when a guy does that, the hype, especially again with all the hype that he came in with, it really has not died down. Will it maybe kind of ebb and flow over time? Sure, I would think so. And you will see some definitely some down, for lack of a better term here, some downturn around some of the cards when, after a new release, it's going to peak and then it's going to drop again. Yes, that's natural, and that's natural to anybody. But overall, I don't think you're going to see a lot of that with somebody like Wemby. It's just his cards are just going to continue to stay up there and almost make it somewhat unattainable for a lot of collectors. So I'm going to show you kind of some ways and talk about some strategies that I've been able to attain some of these cards. So first, let's go ahead and go through the Wemby collection. This is all I've got. This is my collection so far. Not too crazy. This is my slab collection at least, and I've got a few more in this stack actually. I'll show you that I'm hoping to add to this. And then I've got some other ones at PSA right now, continuing to add to this. Like I've said before, I'm super impatient. I want to get these cards now. So I'm trying to figure out ways how I can do that. So, all right. So I'm going to start with, I've got some base cards in here, but then toward the bottom of the pile, I've got some of the bigger ones, and I'll kind of talk again about my strategy. So here's a good example. Hoops rookie, Victor Wembanyama. I think when this became came out as PSA 10, this was probably selling for around 100. You could probably get these for about 40, 50 now. Again, that's kind of that ebb and flow you're going to get with some cards after a new release. So from a strategic standpoint, when I first started doing this, I was literally subbing every Wemby I could get my hands on. And I was like, man, I'm going to keep them all. They're going to be part of my collection. Through my research and through kind of what I've learned, not every card is going to maintain that long-term value because there are so many cards out there. From a collector standpoint, most people are looking for, obviously they're looking for like the numbered cards. I mean, that's the obvious one, the super rare stuff, but not every collector is looking for that. Some collectors are looking for just like a base card, for example. So what I'll kind of show you and talk about is what I've kept in my collection. This is probably, let's see, how many cards do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 cards. I probably submitted and received about 20 or 30 Gem Mint 10 Wembanyamas over my time, and I've only kept these. My reasoning behind it, again, is I've focused to one base card from each set. Base cards are kind of base card rookies are the ones that are more sought after. I think Luka Doncic is a good example. His Donruss base is going for, in a PSA 10, is going for about, 100, like 100 up to 130 maybe right now. I think maybe even more during the peak of his performance in the NBA Finals and stuff like that. But take some of the inserts in that series. They're not as sought after. And I'm just talking base inserts. You might have parallel inserts that are numbered. Those are going to be a little bit more rare and maybe chase after. But the base card is always going to have more value. It's going to peak at some point at a certain level. Again, Luka has been in the league a long time. His base Donruss is at $130. Like it over time it'll go up very slowly over that, and then the rare cards obviously more than that. But again, in my opinion, the base cards are going to be the ones holding the longer term value. So here we got a Donruss base. Again, this one was, I think this was going for like 300 at one point, which is crazy. Again, after the new release, but this is something under $100, probably in the $60 to $70 range right now. Next card here, we got a Monopoly base rookie card. This at one point was going for a lot, but this is funny too because you've got the regular Prism and this is the Monopoly Prism. They look pretty much the same, but they obviously got the Monopoly there. But man, this one goes for about $50, and I think the base goes now, which it was about 300, is going for around 120. So take advantage of the hype as well. One thing I've definitely done, I think the Monopoly, the Select, I would say I've probably subbed about, maybe only a couple of the Monopoly, but I subbed about 4 or 5 of these. I'm only keeping one. And my strategy in doing that is I'm keeping it because, again, it's going to go down over time, but if I sell it at the peak, let's say I get $100 for that card. I think now it's like 40 or 50, 60, whatever it may be. I just netted an extra $40. I can take that $40 and I can now put it into something else. I could go buy, let's say if I don't have this card, I could go buy that. So essentially, I'm buying the Select and the hoops for the price of the Select. So think about it that way. It's hard to get rid of somebody like Wemby in your collection, but there are smart ways to do it. I think keeping one of each is kind of, at least for my personal collection, I've kind of settled on that. I think having too many of one base card, maybe not the best long-term strategy, but again, trying to take that, sell it, either buy another Wemby or diversify into another player, whatever it may be. Select, I just went through that one. And then probably the most valuable of the base cards, the Prism. When I first got this, I got mine graded. I graded 2 of them, and I got them graded right around the peak. And I was going back and forth. I'm like, man, do I keep this? Do I sell it? I think it's going to be a good long-term value. I decided to sell one of them. I'm glad I did. I sold for $300 about 3 months ago, maybe. This is now selling for $120. That just tells you, again, how the hype can die down. But if I would, like, selling that $300 card, I could buy almost 3 more of these with the profit I made on that one. So, think about it that way. What is your long-term goal? Do you want to have all these Wembys in your collection? Great, but there's a smarter way to do it. This one's interesting. I actually did a video on a submission on these. I really wanted one of these in my collection, but it goes against all of my everything I believe in to buy a graded card. So I ended up purchasing 4 of these. No, 6. 6 of these at around 50 to 60 each, I believe. And with the goal that I purchased 6 great copies. I thought they were all really good. If I get a 10, I'm keeping it, and then whatever, I'll decide what to do with the rest of them, whether they're 10s or whatever. I literally got 110. This is the one I got. I kept it. Sold off all the other 9s. I would say I probably made a few dollars on each one. So if you think about it, again, I was able to buy this card for 50, graded for 20, $70. This is still today like a $200 card. It was like $500-$600 at one point or something, but that's my strategy. I'm trying to get in at the lowest cost possible. And then my strategy with this was to buy a bunch of them and settle on the 110. And it would have been nice to have more 10s, and I could have sold those and made even more, but I didn't get that lucky. So, but anyway, I'll get through these and then we'll talk on these. All right, so last one, this was actually on my last PSA reveal. A nice card I added to my collection. Got this out of a pack. Singles, purchasing singles of Wemby just for one, it's really tough too. So it's a battle, kind of saying like, hey, do I open some packs to try to get this, or do I just get it? So I would say like this is one of the cards where it's kind of a bonus. I don't know if this would be in my collection if I didn't pull it out of a pack. I'm not about to spend $200+ on a card to get graded, but I got it out of a hanger box, and I'm very fortunate to have that one, along with this one, which is the biggest monster in my collection. I pulled this out of a hanger box as well. This is the Blue Tectonic, numbered 57 out of 99. I think peak value on this, I estimated around $1,500. Got lucky, subbed this one, got a 10. But again, this is probably a card I wouldn't have in my collection, but I was very fortunate to get it out of a pack. But, you know, follow this long-term strategy of kind of continuing to build and build and build and build. And then maybe someday, you know, you can actually take the profits you get and purchase this card. So hopefully that made sense. I know it can seem a little cumbersome, confusing, but patience is the key. Again, coming from somebody who's super impatient, patience is the key in your long-term strategy. Be smart about it. You know, start somewhere. If you want to go out and buy 20 of this, you'll hear this on a lot of other channels too. There's one I really like to listen to, the Sports Card Strategy Show. One of the things they have this thing they call a formula, and it'll kind of explain to you like how you could take 20 or 30 or whatever of one card, and the strategy of going out and, you know, making some money on that investment and then being able to keep some for yourself. So it's kind of a pretty cool thing. It's a little bit larger scale than what I'm talking about, but the principle is the same. All right. So anyway, let's get to my cards on my next submission. I think a few of these I showed on one of my other videos, but I'll just kind of go through it again. My strategy around grading is there's kind of a few things to keep in mind. I definitely try to, it's always raw to grade for me. I don't, again, like I said, I don't buy graded, but I do try to buy in a timely manner around hype, around season, before the season, or in an off season where I feel like I can get the best bang for your buck. I mean, I think a lot of it too, you have to go around when the product is released. That can be tricky. Football this year, a lot of these products are being released right before the season, so the hype is like hitting right away. But again, raw to grade is going to be a smarter way to go, because you're still going to pay less on a raw card, grade it, and then get it into a PSA 10 than you would for the PSA 10. You might actually even have a better return, but you're just going to be paying a little more up front. So I'll go ahead and start going through these. This one I talked about before, Brandon. I'm probably saying his last name wrong because I feel like I've heard other people say it differently. Podziemski. I got this for $5. This is a guy that had a lot of hype going toward the end of the season. They did not make the playoffs, so there wasn't anything really about him in the playoffs. So I feel like this is a good one where the hype has really died down. You can go out and get him $5, Optic Holo. This has potential in my mind for like to be $100 card during the season. So I'm gonna capitalize on that. Here's a good example of a guy that his hype has fallen quite a bit. But he started to build some hype this year. He looked pretty good toward the end of the season. Zion, these cards used to be worth or selling at a ton. I picked these up for $10 each not that long ago, and they both look really good. So that's something. This is kind of one of those dart throws for me, but I think there's enough of a potential, I guess you could say, to for those to provide some value. But these will be cards I'm selling, and most of these will be. Again, I'm trying to capitalize on the hype, buy the card, grade it, get a good grade, turn it out to be able to continue to build something like my Wemby collection and others. All right, here's a couple more I have. A couple silver prisms of some basketball players. This one right here, Cam Whitmore, a lot of hype around this guy. This is a $100 card in a PSA 10. Cason Wallace, not probably around a $50 mark, PSA 10, but this is a $10 card. This is like a $2 card. So again, just trying to capitalize on the hype. Basketball season will be starting in a couple months. You know, the draft just happened. There's some hype going there. So we'll see how that goes. LeBron, I mean, need I say anything more? I mean, you get a card like this, not numbered or anything, but you can get this for a couple bucks. PSA 10, you're looking at least a $50 card. And any kind of LeBron, like parallel, something that's got low pop counts. And look at the pop counts on PSA. That's something I would definitely recommend doing too. If you're not sure how to find them, it's not super easy, but my strategy, this sounds kind of funny. I'll type in the Google search bar. So for example, this one here, this is the 2023-24 select set, but in PSA's registry, it's the 2023 select set. So I type in 2023 select basketball PSA pop report. Do that for any set you're looking for, and the search will come up. You click right on it, it'll take you right to the set, and you can look at all the different variations of each card and what the pop counts are. That's really important. If it's like a super high pop count, double-edged sword here, super high pop count, but a really popular player like Wemby, it's kind of okay because there's still a huge market for him. Super high pop count, small market for a guy. Klay Thompson, let's just say, I'm just like making up a name here. Not a huge market for the guy. You're going to have a hard time selling that card. Not only that, but you're not going to get a premium on something, even though it's a PSA 10. PSA 10 looks awesome, great, but the premium isn't there because there's not a lot of people that actually want that card. All right, here's another example of a guy. I think that the hype was building, has dropped. The Rockets are a team that are really up and coming. Amen Thompson, there's a lot of hype around him. These cards are like $5 each right now. I think that's what I got these for. $100 card potential in a PSA 10 right now. So I'm definitely taking a chance and buying into that kind of hype and potential. Here's a card I hope to add to my collection. I got lucky again, pulled this out of a pack. Any big time Wembys you see, I probably pulled out of a pack because I can't right now at this point bring myself to pay multiple $100s in a card. I just don't have that, especially in a raw card to be able to grade it. So I got lucky on that one. Pulled this out of the same box. It's Luka. Luka's always good, but again, think about pop counts. If this was just the basic express lane insert, super high print run. It's Luka, yeah, great. You'll sell it. You'll make a little bit of money. Is it really worth it to make $5-10 on a card like this? This one is numbered, creating kind of a more of a chase around it. That's why I'm subbing this. If this was just the basic, even the purple Express Lane Luka, I probably would not submit that. I just don't think the return is there for something like that. Another Wemby I'm hoping to add to my collection. This is actually a Kraken resub. I thought this looked good. I'm gonna try resending this. We'll see. Hopefully I don't regret that. But this is one I pulled out of a pack again, just like to add to my collection. It's like a $150 card probably in a PSA 10, but I think there's potential. It was going a lot higher when the when the peak of select came around. Here's another guy I already talked about, Podziemski, but again, I got this for $6. This card looked perfect. I've actually already subbed and sold one of these, and I think I sold it for $65. So again, $6 card, $20, roughly $20 to grade it. You're talking about 3x on that. And I sold it in the complete off season. I probably could have waited, made more. Again, potential $75 to $100 card in my mind. So you're looking at a nice 2 to 3x on that one. This one is interesting. This guy, I just kind of stumbled upon these. I don't know much about Luke Musgrave, but again, think about the card itself and the player. You obviously, the best of both worlds is you got a great player, great card. If this was a Wemby and it was a blue wave and it was numbered, yeah, no brainer. I'm gonna sub that, make a ton of money on it. But I'd also pay probably $500-600 for it. These were like $5 a piece. Both are numbered. You can see on the back there, 225 and 199, so fairly low number. This is a guy that I think has some potential. I've kind of done my research. There's a lot of great talk and hype around him. Super under the radar. Football season coming up. I think this is a good, I wouldn't necessarily call it a dart throw, but I would say maybe like an calculated risk. I think something like this is good. Again, if I can get these for $5, his silver prism goes for more than these. So I was kind of shocked I was able to get these, to be honest. They're much more rare than the silver prism. Here's one that is 100% PC for me. This is a PC card. I like to throw these in every once in a while. I don't necessarily care about the value, but I have looked at it. I paid $2 for this. Alonzo Mourning, 1992-93, Topps Gold. Super rare. There's quite a chase around these Topps Gold. Immaculate condition. I was just shocked that I could find it in that condition, being so old. And this is, again, just a PC ad for me. It's like a $50 card maybe in a PSA 10, but I just want this to go in my long-term box because it's so cool. All right, last card. $6 to $7 card. Again, football season coming up. Sam Laporta. This is a great example of a player and a card. So Sam Laporta, quite a big following, decent amount of hype, football season coming up, and this is the green velocity. These command a bit more premium over something like a Purple Shock because of the way you get these. They come out of the fat packs. There's not even one per pack. So the odds of hitting these are quite low. And I don't know, this might just be my opinion, but people hate these fat packs. So I think a lot of them are just sitting out there unopened. So the pop counts on something like this are going to be a lot lower. So capitalize on it. I look at this compared to, let's say, a Purple Shock. If I'm going to pay $10 on this, I think it was somewhere around 9 is what I paid. $10 on this, maybe 5 on a Purple Shock. So you're talking $5 difference. Grading fees are the same. I see a $20 upgrade potential on a PSA 10 of this over the Purple Shock. So you're talking, 3 times the amount of the cost difference it takes. So be smart, find the right cards, find the ones that people really want that are chasing, and then go that direction. And then again, if I'm trying to buy more Wembys, I can buy more with the $15 extra that I'm going to make on that. So, all right. Hopefully that was educational. You guys learned something. See my Wemby collection. I hope that this grows quite a bit more. That's my goal. I've got some other players I'm collecting too, but on today's video is really I'm just showing those. But thanks again for joining me. I'm always learning. Hopefully you guys are learning. Share some lessons with me. I'd love to hear them. But until next time, we'll keep doing more videos like this, as well as some ripping and stuff like that. So thanks again. Drop a like, comment. Most importantly, subscribe. And we'll see you guys around. Thanks.